Good afternoon again, folks. Welcome to today's final episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the usual disclaimers, it did take a little bit longer than I wanted to, but that was because my computer forced me to reboot, and then my Screencastify decided we need to change back to the old version out of nowhere, and I had to dig to find where we left off. So, where we left off here. Although a few ABA textbooks, oh my gosh, with the allergies. Sorry. Oh, I almost went past the disclaimers. Holy crap, folks. Alright, I'm tired. If you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused, so you know the drill. Please read the article and share on all your social media. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC ever actually does see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1 will be discussed places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys. You're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please make sure to use your headphones. Trigger warning 2, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is very much advised. Alright, so now where we left off. Although a few ABA textbooks, one of which is authorized by a JRC board member, yes, doesn't that just fill my soul with confidence? Ugh. Seriously. Mention contingent skin shock as an available technique. They also emphasize the highly limited use of ESDs due to negative side effects and ethical and humanitarian objections. Wait, what the fuck? Did I just read that? Okay, so you have a JRC board member, folks, who is saying that it needs to be used because of ethical and humanitarian objections. Or, and hear me out on this here, you could just not use them at all. Because giving an autistic second to third degree burns for acting within our neurotype when you've got people like this who are actually legitimately, knowingly, and willingly triggering those behaviors is completely psychotic and barbaric. Like, there are people that served in the Inquisition who'd be kind of staring at you. Okay? Saying is all. Good God. You would think if a board member would object, they would object to the use of it entirely. But again, folks, but you're not like them. They're so severe. We don't know that anything else will work because they can't tell us what's wrong. If they're screaming their head off because you're shocking them within an inch of their life, they're telling you it's wrong, Karen. It hurts. You are torturing them for a behavior that they can't control, that more often than not, your staff directly triggered just to use the device. Okay? Please stop. The FDA acknowledges that a number of states do not prohibit the use of ESDs for SIB or AB on their residents, and some states reimburse individuals for use of ESDs on their residents in certain circumstances. Where are these other places? Is there a list? Because I'm going to start talking about them too. Any single medical center, residency program, or even community based supports that actually support this insanity need to be closed down. Like the institutions of old, with a few dinosaurs still lingering to just remind us of how insane some of these people who are so called doctors are. You don't use them, period. Okay? But Tiff and the police, and these are not the same situations. The cop did not deliberately trigger the perp that they're after to commit the act that has the cop chasing them in the first place. Okay? That's what the JRC does. They do that. I would like to say that anyways, but God knows with some of these nowadays. It's probably good my dad got out when he did. You get my point though, right? In actuality, when a cop is chasing a perp, at least I would hope against hope, in a good majority of the situations, they are not deliberately triggering the criminal act and then punishing the criminal for it. The JRC does. Kind of a huge difference there. Not just that, but you are punishing someone who is not engaging in willful disobedient behavior. ABA and a lot of so-called standard of care folks would like you to believe that it is willful and it's all about manipulation to get whatever we want, or that we're trying to impress people to get friends. I've never had a meltdown in my entire life to try to win friends. Okay? They are uncontrolled behaviors triggered by internal issues. As long as those issues aren't dealt with, guess what's going to continue to happen? Because even if you're the best masker on planet Earth, eventually the mask drops. Whether from being overwhelmed and the diagnosis overriding you, or just out of sheer exhaustion at not being able to keep up the neurotypical facade. Okay? Just saying. I'm gonna harp on that probably till like the last trumpet sounds, folks, or, God willing, the comet comes. So back to where we were, right? Okay. However, according to the 2015 survey conducted by NASDDDS, 37 of the 45 states that responded reported that aversive interventions are disallowed for treatment of people with intellectual or developmental disabilities. Thank you! Thank you for making that distinction. What they're referring to is in a situation like I was just referencing here, where you've got a cop chasing after a perp and they have to use the taser, right? None of these states agree that electric skin shock, especially at the high levels of voltage the JRC uses, should be used to treat those of us who are neurodivergent. Literally none of them. None of them. None of them. But the JRC, as we know, like to use vague references because most people, unfortunately, I'm sorry, neurotypicals, I don't mean to be mean to you, and I know it's probably because the majority of us are overworked, but they're not going to read into the vagueness. They're going to take it at face value. there's context that the JRC doesn't want you to see. So thank you, FDA, for laying it out there so that the JRC can't say, but what about police situations? And again, I will reference you. The cop did not deliberately trigger the perp to do a criminal behavior so that they can use the taser on them. Okay? That's what the JRC does. If it sounds insane in a real life scenario, it's insane every single time. All right? Just saying. And none of the other 8 states included ESDs as permissible aversives. With regard to the GED specifically, Dr. McCracken testified that no valid evidence support the use of GED and that its use is unethical. Remember, folks, literally the folks that blasted neurodivergent brains with radiation to make us neurotypical. I'm just going to keep saying neurotypical because you people are not normal. I may have a lot of issues as an autistic, but I don't knee jerk react to anything. At least a majority of the time. There may be situations where I can go there, but ultimately, even during those times, I will pull myself back and make no types of decisions or determinations until I can calm down and think rationally. So, yeah, that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? You cannot find me a single state that agrees that this should be used in order to treat these types of behavior because it's insane. In the situations where similar devices like the tasers are done, it is due to very different situations, isn't it? I have never seen a cop tase someone randomly, and the only thing that they did was stand up for longer than 3 seconds. Okay? We're going to close on that one. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few we do tend to get removed from time to time. You know the drill. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.